Am I the a-hole for using my husband's money to pay for my daughter's Apple iPhone that he broke? My daughter is 16. She had her old phone for 5 years and always wanted a new phone. I'm the only one working right now since my husband decided to take a break from work after he inherited some money from his dad. I saw that she did pretty good at school despite having mental health issues that had gotten in the way of her focus before. And so I decided to keep her encouraged and reward her by getting her an Apple iPhone that cost a good sum of money. I did my best to save money to buy it. I literally skipped paying for breakfast at work to be able to afford it. And my husband didn't want to help, so I was on my own. I bought her the iPhone, and quite honestly, I haven't seen her this happy in a while. It was refreshing for me because she really went through some hard time in the past couple of years emotionally and mentally. My husband wasn't happy with us as he said the iPhone will only distract her from school and chores. But that wasn't true. In fact, it encouraged her to do more. But he still said I shouldn't have spent that kind of money on an iPhone that she might be irresponsible with and break. My daughter picked up on his attitude towards the iPhone, but I told her to ignore him. Days ago, I found out that he broke the iPhone. I asked why, and he said he asked her to get him something from the toolbox in the garage, but she was on the iPhone and ignored him. He used this incident as evidence that the iPhone was bad influence, but I yelled at him and demanded he replace it. He said he wouldn't, so I took money out of his account and paid for a new iPhone and gave it to my daughter. He saw what I did and went off on me, calling me vicious and awful, and accused me of stealing his father's money and demanded the money I took, every single penny back. I basically told him it won't happen. Then he got his mother on me saying I'm setting a terrible example for my daughter by getting her a phone paid for with money that I stole from her dad. My husband said he won't speak a word to me till I fix this, but I already said I owe him nothing. Am I the a-hole for this? Edited to add, no. He's her biological father, not stepdad. And price for the iPhone where I live is $1,000 and it's not cheap. Finding out that I took $1,000 out of his inheritance really got him so furious that he said I was the worst woman he met in his life. He had 2 ex-wives if this is anywhere relevant. He took it back later, then said he won't speak till the money's back. Now for the top comments. Sounds like you need to save up for a divorce. Run. Run, don't walk. Contact DA survivor groups in your area and plan an escape route. Things like this do not happen in a vacuum. To purposefully break someone's belongings because their actions anger you. This is so abusive and controlling, and it's just a massive red flag. How can Opie's daughter feel safe around a parent who resorts to damaging their property? What's next? Her bedroom door? Not stay home. Making him pay for an item he deliberately broke, especially when he knew how hard you saved to buy it, is perfectly acceptable. Extremely concerning facts. 1. Felt it was acceptable for him to break a valuable possession of your daughter's as punishment. 2. That he felt running to enlist aid from his mother and berating you is a good idea. 3. Thinks the silent treatment is an acceptable form of punishment. This really needs to be dealt with, and you absolutely need to make sure your daughter is not being treated badly as part of your relationship problems. Get couples counseling immediately or reassess the marriage, but don't let your daughter get put in the middle. Also add, 4. Doesn't work but can't get own tools from toolbox. I'd bet money did this intentionally knowing daughter was on phone to justify breaking it. He didn't really need anything. 5. Doesn't appreciate his own daughter's hard work and commitment to achieving her goals. What a piece of turd. And also, though I know a lot of people split finances, it rubs me the wrong way that he inherited enough to not work for a while and hoards all the money. I know people will come after me about this probably since it is his inheritance, but I could not imagine inheriting enough money to not work and then watch my hubby skip meals to save money. It's just wrong to me. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for letting my fiancé fend for himself after he constantly compared me to his mom? My fiancé had a heart attack and required an open heart surgery 2 weeks ago. He just got home a few days ago and I'm caring for him. A little backstory. His mom and I don't have a good relationship. Since the beginning of my relationship to my fiancé, his mom would constantly try to compete with me and one-up me on everything. She always claimed that she would be the first woman in my fiancé's life because she birthed and raised him, and how I can't break their bond. For the most part, those comments were unprovoked, and at first I would be too scared to defend myself. But later I stood up for myself, and my fiancé stood up for me and established some boundaries with his mom. His mom sometimes crosses some of those boundaries, but for the most part, she's been acting a bit better. During his stay in the hospital, both I and his mom took turns staying with him. Ever since we got home, I'm the one caring for him 24/7. And I don't mind. I love him and I want him to get better. But I got extremely upset because after we got home, he was being ungrateful about everything. He started comparing me to his mom. He started saying his mom would do X thing better, and why can't I do it like his mom since that's how he likes it. He gives backhanded compliments to the foods I make, and says it's good, but not like my mom's. He sometimes also snaps at me because I won't do something quick enough or properly enough, and he will tell me words like, "I wish my mom was here. She wouldn't be so useless. Just tell her to come here if you can't do these basic tasks." I was patient with him because I didn't want to upset him during his recovery. But what made me lose my mind and leave the house was when he told me that his mom was probably right when she said she would be the first woman in his life, since she'd care about him better than I do, and how it was a mistake establishing boundaries with her, and that I was the one he should have established boundaries with. After this comment, I didn't think twice. I just packed 2 clothes on my handbag and left and went to stay at my cousin's house. He called me and said I'm an a-hole for leaving him home alone while he's recovering, and that I should have at least called his mom first so she'd come. I told him he should call her and it's none of my business anymore. My parents told me I was out of line leaving him to fend for himself, and that is right that I should have called his mom first, and how I'm the a-hole for making this about me when my fiancé's recovery should be my priority. Not the a-hole. Go back, pack the rest of your stuff and leave him for good. He's showing his true colors. A mama's boy will always be a mama's boy, and you'll always come second. For all these years, he was an amazing partner who was able to set all the right boundaries to his mom. I don't know what changed now. It has switched that fast. Nothing changed. This is who he is. It's easy to put up boundaries when things are going well. I have sympathy for him in terms of his recovery from surgery, but ultimately it's difficult circumstances that really test a partner's willingness to maintain said boundaries. If he can go back on his word this time, he'll do it again. Exactly. Sure, the surgery is a huge emotional and painful process that can bring out the worst in some people, but it sounds like he has adjusted his true self long enough to lock Opie into marriage and kids. Once that happens and Opie is tied down, Mommy will take over his life again. Not stay home. Also, run. Call off the wedding. He can marry his mom since he doesn't get the difference between wife and mother. Oh, trust me, he gets the difference. He just wanted to switch it to his benefit each time. All these years, his mom was useless to him, so he was perfectly fine setting boundaries with her. Suddenly, he started missing the mommy care and switched me to the bad guy because I was not an exact copy of his mom. Because he thought he'd replaced her. Up to now, you've probably met his mom expectations, and this is the first time you haven't. This will never stop. Next story. Am I the a-hole for asking my mom for her heirloom ring to propose to my girlfriend with? I never thought my asking would cause such a problem, but here we are. It wasn't my intention to cause such a problem, and I would like to know if I'm the a-hole because of my request. My mom has a ring she inherited from her mom. It belonged to her grandmother and has always been passed down the line. My mom doesn't have any brothers or sisters, and I only have a brother and not any sisters. My mom always said one of us could have the ring to give to our future wife if we wanted. When my brother got engaged to his wife, she didn't like the ring, so my brother gave it back to our mom and bought a different one to repropose with. When I was getting ready to propose to my girlfriend, the ring was still available. I asked my mom if I could have it for my girlfriend. She agreed, and my girlfriend ended up loving the ring. She can't wear jewelry at her job. She's a surgical nurse, but she wears it the rest of the time. My brother went bonkers when he found out I gave the ring to my girlfriend when he saw our engagement photo. First he said I didn't have the right because it was his, or his wife's. But neither of them wanted the ring. He gave it back to my mom for crying out loud. My mom wasn't upset that my sister-in-law didn't want it. She figured she didn't like vintage and might prefer a modern ring. My brother proposed in 2010 and the ring hasn't been mentioned since then. But my sister-in-law is mad now that my girlfriend has the ring. But again, she didn't want it. She exchanged her engagement ring a couple of years back for a different one. So I don't know if she just can't make up her mind or what, but in 2010, she didn't want mom's ring. My brother accused me of being a cheapskate, except that he proposed with a ring too back then. If my girlfriend didn't like it or it didn't exist, I could have afforded a ring. The ring isn't particularly valuable besides sentiment. Now they want me to ask my girlfriend for it back and return it to our mom. I haven't told my girlfriend anything about how furious my brother and sister-in-law are because I don't want this to bring bad feelings about the ring. My brother claims I stepped on his toes and that it wasn't cool, which I don't understand why they care after all this time. Both of them are very angry at me, and I honestly don't understand if I broke some unwritten rule or they are overreacting. Am I the a-hole? Be honest. If it turns out I'm wrong, I'll accept it. Now for the comments. Not stay home. Mom, hey son number 1, do you want this thing? Son number 1, no thanks, I don't. You keep it. Son number 2, hey, can I have that thing? Mom, yes, you can. Son number 1, that's mine. He's like a toddler who only wants something because someone else is playing with it. My kids do exactly this, but they're 6 and 2. Yeah, I was going to say this sounds like my 6 and 3-year-old, but like, it's something they get chastised for, and we actively work on them not being petty like that. Not stay home. If brother had proposed with it, sister-in-law then said she wanted something different for her engagement ring, but liked the ring and otherwise wanted to keep it to hand down to their children. Then it would have been inappropriate for Opie to ask his brother for the ring. But the ring was given back to the mother. Brother didn't keep it, so it's fair game. Not stay home. They're out of their damn minds. If, and that's a big if, they planned on giving it to, say, a future daughter, if they even had one, they should have said something to your mother. There is no reason your girlfriend shouldn't keep the ring. Do not give the ring back. There are no take-see-backsies here. Tell them to get bent. They don't have children. They don't want the ring as an heirloom because there's no one to give it to after them. But they say it is rightfully theirs, and it should go back to our mom. Yeah, then they're on some weird power trip. Do they not like your girlfriend? I just don't know where the entitlement could be coming from. Have you asked them? They have never met her before, so I don't know. He just claims on repeat it was rightfully his because he's the oldest, and it was earmarked for him, even though he ignores the parts where he gave it back. Not stay home. I hope your fiancé wears it everywhere and posts it in every picture imaginable on Instagram and shows the entire world because she loves it. I hope you guys make it your lock screen photos and use it on your invitations. I hope you have a giant seating chart and the ring is in the background image, and I hope your brother and sister-in-law have to face it while they eat. I hope your cheesy wedding slideshow has the ring flying through the screen as a screen wipe. I hope you get it goddamn tattooed to your bicep so you can literally flex on your brother every time you see him. Even if you did every single one of these things, you still wouldn't be the a-hole because you gave back the ring to your mom, making it your mother's ring that she gave to you. Last story. Am I the a-hole for paying for my brother-in-law's rehab but not my sister-in-law's needed surgery to test for cancer? I'm 28 female, my brother-in-law is 32 male, and my sister-in-law is 46 female. My brother-in-law is hands down one of the best people I know. He is a gentle giant with the biggest heart, who would take the shirt off his back to help you. 4 years ago, he was overtaken by grief after the passing of his daughter, aged 4, and unfortunately turned to bad habits to grieve. I did not have the financial capabilities to help him with rehab, but I made it work. I put a lot of our stuff up for sale, and with the help of the community, I was able to put him through a rehab a little over a year and a half ago. And so far, he's doing great. He is home again now, and we make sure that we are there for him through the really hard days. His daughter's birthday, death day, and holidays. My sister-in-law, on the other hand, is a person who asks for handouts constantly and never returns the favor. Every time she knows I have money or got a bonus, she will say things like, "So, what are you going to buy your favorite sister-in-law?" Or, "You can get me this since you have the money." She knows I'm currently in a really good position financially after landing a promotion with a significant pay raise 4 months ago. Now, here's the thing. My sister-in-law cried wolf too many times. Last year, she pulled a pity train on her Girl Scout leaders. Her daughter was in a group, stating that she had missed status or something, and they gave her a bunch of funds from the Girl Scouts bank account to help her, and it turns out she never even had it. She just used the money to buy a new sectional couch and electronics. This time around, she supposedly has a massive lump on her ovaries, and they are worried it may be cancerous. So she needs a biopsy and she can't afford it. Both her and her husband make damn good money and she has health insurance, but she calls and asks me if I can loan her $5,000 for the surgery startup, and I straight up said no. She asks why, and I told her because every year she comes up with a new medical problem and weasels money out of people. And without proof, like paperwork, I don't believe her. She says I'm an a-hole for thinking she is lying, and since I helped pay for her brother's rehab, saying I should be more understanding because this is more serious, and that brother-in-law made his bed and should have laid in it, whereas she didn't do this to herself. The rest of the family thinks I'm out of line as well, except for my husband who is on my side 100%. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Also, it is none of their business how much money you make or doesn't make. I would have discussion with your spouse about you no longer wishing to discuss your finances with them. They don't need to know this info. She works for the same company as me. That's how she knows about my financial state. She applied for my position, so she knew the salary. Does she also have insurance through the same company? If so, why would her copay for a biopsy be $5,000? Are you sure she's not trying to get cosmetic surgery? Not that it matters. Your money, your call. Not they all. I actually question this. So admittedly, our health insurance kind of sucks. We have really high copays and deductibles, and just for basic family insurance, it is $250 a paycheck. So I personally go through another provider and just pay out of pocket. And I have told her to do the same, but she doesn't want to deal with the hassle of it, claiming it is tedious. On to the cosmetic end, I questioned whether or not this actually might be for a tummy tuck or liposuction. My sister-in-law is severely overweight, pushing 450, and has talked about these surgeries multiple times. Am I the a-hole for exposing my ex-husband for taking the gift I got for my son's 16th birthday? My female 36 ex-husband, male 37, divorced me after I got diagnosed with cancer. He made it all about him, then blamed me for our marriage failing. Got married to a 23-year-old woman who calls me by mocking nicknames. I try to have a good co-parenting relationship. I have a 16-year-old son who lives in both houses. His 16th birthday was days ago, and I bought him a console and sent it to his dad's house in advance since I was out of town and couldn't attend the birthday celebration. 2 days later, one day before the birthday, my ex-husband called saying he opened the gift I got for our son, used it, and broke it. I was in dismay when he told me, and I started arguing with him about paying for it to replace it. But he started pleading saying he has no money and asked that I either send another gift, didn't have to be a console, or just tell our son I didn't send him a gift. I told him no way I was going to lie to my son, but he kept begging saying he'll pay me back once he's able. I ended a call with him, then immediately called my son to let him know what his father did to his birthday gift. A huge fight ensued, and my ex-husband called me yelling saying I not only ruined our son's birthday celebration, but ruined his relationship with him over a stupid console that he was going to pay for, but that I was being spiteful trying to one-up him. My son went to stay at my place with my current husband, and hasn't been speaking to his dad. His dad is blaming me because our son refused to stay and celebrate his birthday there after finding out what his dad did. My ex-husband's wife berated me in a long text talking about how I caused a scene and used my son as a tool to get back at his dad when I could have worked things out like a mature adult. She said she doesn't get me and that there's something wrong with my personality. She even claimed she would be a better, more mature mom than me that never involved her kids in her fights with her partner. I was upset by her lecture and felt maybe I mishandled the situation and made a hasty decision. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your ex is a piece of work. First, he should never have opened a present. And second, how the heck do you break a console that fast? I don't know what it was, of course, but like I have a Switch and an Xbox, and they've both taken quite a few good knocks over the years with no issue. You sure you didn't just return or pawn it? Edit. After some more thought and discussion below, I 100% think he stole it. Whether he pawned, returned, or kept it for himself, I don't know. But I just have trouble believing he just somehow broke a console beyond repair and binned it without discussion. And nobody else around. It's just way too suspicious. Right, I don't see how he broke it so quick. Like, I've dropped my PS4 a couple of times and the thing is old and still not broke. Also, OP, you're not the a-hole. And I'd block your ex-husband's wife and only talk to your ex-husband about your son. But the stepmom needs to step out of it because she doesn't get a say. And your ex can't be mad if his son won't talk to him anymore. He's annoying. And he didn't have to open his son's gift when it was for the son, not him. Not the a-hole. What kind of a grown man opens his kid's birthday gift, uses it, and just like magic, breaks it? I'm ready to bet he broke the gift on purpose because he didn't buy your son anything and didn't want to look like a loser. Of course, for them it's okay for your son to believe that his mother didn't bother buying him a gift, but it's not okay for your son to know that his father is a selfish idiot. Also, the fact that the son believes his mom probably shows he knows what kind of a-hole his dad is. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole, and you need to tell the ex's new wife to sit down and shut the heck up. You are co-parenting with a father, not her. She's the type that has a loud mouth and acts like she's older than me and knows better, always criticizing me, and getting herself involved in any arguments that occur. Big girls fix their mistakes. And since you're so insistent on putting yourself in affairs that don't concern you and trying to be the better mom, why don't you be a doll and cash up for the new console? Not the a-hole, obviously. And how does a console just break without a foul intent? You don't have to play nice with condescending leeches. Next story. Am I the a-hole for siding with my daughter when she said she doesn't want to stand up for her stepsister? I, 48 female, have been with my husband, 50 male, for 6 years now. I have a daughter, Bex, 16 female, from a previous relationship, and he has a daughter, Stella, 16 female, from his previous relationship. Bex and Stella go to the same school. Bex is a cheerleader while Stella is a quiet person. She likes to keep to herself and doesn't have a lot of friends. Bex, on the other hand, is friends with the whole cheer squad. Recently, Stella informed my husband and I that some other girls at school, who are not friends with Bex, have been picking on her during lunch. Stella doesn't want to involve the school because she would get into trouble for other unrelated matters. So my husband asked Bex if she could stand up for Stella and tell the other girls to back off. He feels that since Bex is a popular cheerleader, people will listen to her. Why he thinks this, I have no idea. Anyway, Bex said no. She said she doesn't want to fight someone else's fight. She doesn't want to make herself a target either. My husband then asked me if I could ask Bex. I did, and she said no again. I informed my husband that she rejected. He got angry and told that Bex is a spoiled blonde princess who thinks she's a nicer version of Regina George. Literally said that. My ex is a lawyer, single and no other child, so she does have some nice stuffs. And went on a rant about how popular girls have an easy time just being on the sidelines and not doing anything to stop bullying. I told him that while it would be a nice thing for Bex to stand up for Stella, she isn't obligated to do anything. At dinner, he brought it up again. Stella was quiet and didn't say anything, and when Bex said no again, he started yelling at her. I yelled at him, told him to leave Bex alone, and he stormed off. Bex has since then staying with her father. Yesterday, my husband tried to call Bex, but my ex answered and told him to leave her alone. He then started telling me to talk to her. I said I already did, and she said no, and I wasn't going to force her. He called me an a-hole and hasn't spoken to me since. Am I the a-hole? Edit. For everyone asking, the reason Stella says she doesn't want the school involved is that she cheated on a test. But Bex has told me that Stella once used a racial slur which is strictly against school policy. But Stella hasn't confessed to that. Not the a-hole. This is just wrong. A grown man harassing a teenager? Your ex is a lawyer. Do you see where this might end up? Opie seems to be an a-hole to her daughter, so I think everyone sucks here except Bex. If someone called my daughter a spoiled Regina George and bullied her in her own home, there would be some serious consequences. I wouldn't be questioning whether I was being the bad guy with my husband or step-kid, who might even be an instigator here, given that she thinks she will face consequences from the school if she goes to them about the bullying. What a terrible situation to put Bex in. Hopefully, she can stay at her dad's and Opie will apologize and prioritize visiting her and taking her out one-on-one. Your husband is a bully. Yelling at and then calling a 16-year-old to continue arguing with her? Wow, not appropriate. Being popular in school is a slippery slope. Just because Bex is hanging out with a bunch of girls doesn't mean she controls the group. Plus, if the group picking on Stella isn't in any way related to the cheerleader group, she has no pull. So not only is it not Bex's responsibility to fix this, she probably can't. Lastly, why can't Stella defend herself? Why is she helpless? And why can't she go to the school? If she's going to get in trouble if she tells, then there's a bigger issue here. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend it's weird that she wants to name our son after her dead ex-boyfriend? My 31 male girlfriend's 30 female ex-boyfriend passed away 7 years ago from sickle cell disease. They shared a son together who is 9 years old. I adore him and look after him like he's my own. As for us, we began dating 3 years ago and everything has been going really great. She is currently 6 months pregnant and we are having a boy. We're both really excited, but there is tension between us because she suggested that we name our son after her ex-boyfriend, which I instantly said no to. That's definitely not happening. So she then asked if it could be his middle name then because it would mean a lot to her. I told her it's extremely weird because our kid has absolutely no relation to her ex-boyfriend, and it's offensive to me to have our son named after a dead guy that she used to date. She got all crappy with me and said I was disrespectful and wasn't taking her feelings into consideration, blah blah blah, and then told me to remember that dead guy she used to date is the real father of her son. I don't think it was fair to rub that in my face, so now we're both pissed off with each other. I genuinely think it was out of line for her to even ask me that, not to mention inappropriate. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. I can't believe she threw that real father statement in your face. That makes her the a-hole, pregnant or not. She should have named his child after him, not yours. I don't think she's the a-hole for asking. The middle name suggestion was a pretty good compromise as well, but it is his kid too. And I'm sure if I was in this situation, I'd have a Randy Jackson, that's a no from me dog reaction. She turned into the a-hole as soon as she had to remind him that he's not her son's real father. Not the a-hole. F that. That isn't his kid. It's your kid. That is insanely disrespectful. And I can't believe someone would suggest naming a child she had with her current boyfriend after an ex. That is a huge red flag, my man. Not the a-hole. She has a whole kid from her ex. Why does your son have to be named after him? Is she still in love with her dead boyfriend? She needs to get some counseling. That isn't her ex's son at all. Her asking to name him after the ex is so inappropriate and weird. To be fair, I feel like it's valid to still love someone who passed away even if you're in another relationship. But you can't let that influence your current relationship and make your significant other name his child after the guy. I feel bad for her. She needs therapy, it sounds like, to get over the big stuff. Next story. Am I the a-hole for implying that my boyfriend is cheap because of the Valentine's Day gift he got me? I, female 31, have been with my boyfriend, male 37, who's a single dad with 2 boys for 2 years. He has a decent job with decent income and is into woodworking as a hobby. For Valentine's Day, birthdays, and every other celebration, he'd gift me mostly jewelry, and I get him his favorite gadgets or sports gear. For this Valentine, I got him sneakers, and I found out today that his gift for me was a wooden framed photo of him, me, and the kids. I gotta say, I wasn't thrilled with it. When I told my boyfriend my honest opinion, I didn't want to open my mouth, but he pushed me. He said he couldn't believe this was my reaction. But I pointed out that he has money too for a $200 necklace at least, so I could wear it at the engagement party. But he said I was out of line to imply he was being cheap, when all he was doing was to make me a special gift. I'd also had kids help with it and put so much thought and effort in it, because they see me as a family and I should be appreciative of that. I said I was, but still thought he could have added a necklace as a great combo, but he got even more mad, saying he couldn't understand why I'd value a necklace as much as, or even over a special gift he and the kids made for me. We went back and forth on this and breakfast got ruined. He went upstairs and refused to speak to me. I feel like he blew this out of proportion since he asked for my opinion, and I don't know if he has the right to be upset with me now. Am I the a-hole? For Valentine's Day, birthdays, and every other celebration, he'd gift me mostly jewelry. So you don't have enough jewelry yet? How many necks do you have? Yeah, he has more than a right to be upset with you. Wear an old necklace and appreciate what you have with this man and his kids. You're the a-hole. Plot twist? Opie's a giraffe. And I'm gonna say it. A $200 necklace really is not great anyway. If you're gonna be shallow, go all the way. You're the a-hole. I'm assuming he made a frame, which takes a lot of time and effort. Every minute of the project he would be thinking of you. Then I found a photo of him and his kids and you. He is literally presenting you with an image of you as part of his family. And you're complaining as it's not worth a lot. Do you know the minimum value of the wood? Then add that to his time. Entitled much? I'm wondering if the image of the family together is something that he was planning to make happen. With an engagement ring at dinner, a more intimate affair than breakfast with family. And he was really asking how she felt about being in that picture and not the gift itself. Definitely Opie is the a-hole. Wonder if he holds back on that ring. I agree. Opie may have just showed their true colors and made him do a rethink. This could be life-changing. You're the a-hole. His gift is awesome and amazing. The fact that you're upset because of the dollar value is sad. There are things in life that are more important than money. Those 3 people in that picture and who made that frame are more valuable than a necklace. I mean, the dollar value actually is probably quite high if you consider the time it took him to do it, and his hourly pay plus the time it took to go buy the materials, and of course the price of the materials. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for being ungrateful that my boyfriend keeps getting me chocolate? So my boyfriend and I have been together for 8 months, and we get along and everything. I don't like chocolate, except dark chocolate, like J.R. Mints. I had a dairy allergy when I was a kid, and even though I outgrew it for the most part, I just don't like chocolate. My boyfriend seems to think he'll get me to like chocolate because all girls like chocolate and it's weird I don't. He's given me chocolates for every holiday, either with a different gift or chocolate was the gift. He tells me to just try it, so I do, and end up disliking it, so he eats it. It's annoying to put thought into his gift, and he keeps purposely getting me something I dislike. We did Valentine's yesterday and he gave me 3 things of chocolate. I was sorta annoyed. It is said I was being ungrateful and Valentine's is a chocolate holiday, so what do you expect? My ex-boyfriend one time got me donuts for Valentine's Day because he knew I hated chocolate. I told him I'm never going to like chocolate, and it's not funny or whatever he thinks it is. He said most girls like chocolate, and I should be happy that he even remembers to get a gift. That it's not his fault I'm so picky. Maybe he's right, and I'm just being stubborn or something. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. He is demonstrating, repeatedly, that you do not matter to him. Believe him. Also, that he's using Opie to get himself a gift. He knows she doesn't like chocolate, but he does. So he uses trying to convince her to get himself chocolate. Next, it will be all girls like bowling balls that say Homer. Not stay home. Find someone better. You don't need to put up with this. Yeah, 8 months in, and his true colors already showing. She really should call it quits. What happens next time when he buys something else she's not into, but comes away with, but all other girls like that? He is very selfish. Wouldn't be surprised if he bought the chocolates in the hope that he gets to eat them, because he knows she won't. Not a-hole. If you've specifically told him, I don't like this thing, but he keeps giving it to you anyway, then he has no respect for your opinion. Honestly, when I see chocolate or flowers given as a gift to a woman, all I think is that dude giving it have zero thought. It's generalizing, and frankly sexist to assume all women appreciate that. Yep, can't believe I had to scroll this far to see someone point out that believing stereotypes about women over what this particular woman has told him repeatedly, what she does and doesn't like is so sexist. OP, find someone who treats you like an individual and not a physical embodiment of their idea of a woman. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law I don't care about her feelings when it comes to how my kids are treated by their cousins? My husband is my mother-in-law's child from her second marriage. She has 2 older children from her first marriage, and the 2 kids from the first marriage never accepted my husband. Now, according to my husband, as kids, they weren't inherently mean to him, just very distant and disinterested in a relationship with him. But they became more unkind to him as they all got older, and my husband tried to bridge the gap. At the time, his mom was very active in trying to stop that behavior and get the kids to accept my husband as their brother. My husband said she spent a long time trying to make things work, but they didn't. When my husband was 17, his sister got married and there was a big fight at his house between his mom and older siblings, where they said nothing she ever did made them love him, and they had no interest in having him as a brother. That they were fine when they were younger because they could ignore him a lot easier, but they never ever cared for him and would have been happy had he never been born. Despite this, my husband has tried to at least keep a civil relationship with them. It has on a few occasions seen their kids at family functions. We put a stop to contact completely though, when his brother's youngest, 7, spat at our 4-year-old during my husband's grandparents' anniversary barbecue in May. This was not the first time their kids had been mean to mine, but it was the first time they straight up defended the child's action in front of everyone as it not mattering, because in their family, our kids did not matter a single bit. Mother-in-law was outraged, as were the rest of the people there, including the grandparents. But mother-in-law still expected us to try and promote a cousin relationship between our kids and my husband's siblings' kids. My husband told her he wanted to protect our kids from the rejection, and was done. She tried appealing to me as a mother, and how hurt her feelings were that her grandkids would grow on opposite side of a feud, which didn't work because as I told her that when it came to my children and how they are being treated, her feelings are nowhere near the priority list. I told her I understood it must be hard to have this happen with people you love, but she has got to accept that the family from her second marriage don't deserve to be punished for being part of the wrong marriage. She tried to dispute that, but it's true. Her kids never liked that she remarried after her divorce. And anyone born from or brought in from that remarriage is never going to be worthy or a real person in their eyes. They will always be an unwanted nuisance because of that. So it's time to cut the cord and remove that kind of energy from our lives. She's pissed that I dismissed her feelings in the way I did it, but my husband thanked me for having his back, and has been hearing from his mom that I'm an a-hole, which she told her wasn't true, and that she should listen to me. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. This is not like they got in a little pushing match at the barbecue. The kid spat in your kid's face. Kids don't naturally do that. He was encouraged to do that. His parents have taught him at a young age to hate his cousin, and that's sad. You're just protecting your kids. Also, was the second marriage the result of an affair? This type of hurt and hate isn't normal. The second marriage wasn't, no. From what I know, the first marriage ended because mother-in-law thought she could change her first husband, and anyone who knew them back then knew she was crazy and it would end badly, which it did. Not the a-hole. If your husband's half-siblings are so resentful, literally decades later, that their parents are no longer together, that they're encouraging their kids to take it out on a 4-year-old, there's something wrong with them. I can't even imagine an adult being that petty about something that happened, 25 years ago? The divorce was actually 30-ish years ago now. It confuses the hell out of me that they wouldn't take a step back and decide not to come when they hate my husband and our kids so much. Not an a-hole. His older siblings are a-holes. And while I don't think the mother-in-law is one and understand her wanting her grandchildren to get along as a family, it just won't happen anytime soon. It is quite clear her eldest children have no interest in their brother's side of the family, so screw them. I only really found out as an adult that on my dad's side, we were never really accepted, because his mom hated my mom because she was his second partner to have kids. And my grandmother's eyes, only my two eldest brothers from my dad's first partner were her grandchildren. We never really saw that side of the family, so it never really came up. Just figured dad didn't get along with them or they lived further away. My brother's partner added one of our cousins on Facebook from my dad's side. She was adding all the extended family basically, wanting to basically be part of the family. And was point blank told by her that she doesn't care about her, because my brother and I aren't really part of the family, and only our oldest brothers are her real cousins, or something along those lines. So that's stuff that has basically been ingrained in my cousins' heads though their entire lives, and I don't see it's ever changing. It's toxic, and best to just cut them out. I don't think it'll ever happen. I see this just passing through the generations for a long time to come. The level of disdain they have for my husband and children is shocking, given the reason. Like, I have heard of people having no interest in their half-siblings or step-siblings, or even resenting/disliking them. But to the level of hatred they show for innocent children goes beyond anything I have seen before. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not returning my rings to my dead husband's family? Danielle and I were married for 1.5 years, together for 7. I received an engagement ring, wedding ring, and eternity band from him as a wedding anniversary gift for 1 year married. Danielle died in an accident, not sharing what due to privacy, at the beginning of the year, and my heart was broken. It still doesn't feel real, but I'm trying to live life the way he'd want me to every day. I haven't had much contact with his family since the funeral 6 months ago. I suppose we were all hurting and need to heal. Then yesterday, my ex-sister-in-law messaged me on Facebook. I'm a bit of an overshare on Facebook, and they knew about my eternity ring as well as the other rings. My sister-in-law wants me to return all the rings to them, as they say that Daniel paid for them, and because he has died, they belong to the family. And my mother-in-law also told me to do this too. I've already given them back his childhood stuff he had, along with photos he had before I met him. But the rings are deeply sentimental to me. I'd be okay with giving them a plain wedding band, but the two others are beautiful, expensive, $19,000 combined, and remind me of the best time of my life. I'd give them my husband's wedding ring, but he was buried wearing it. Now I'm getting squeezed by his family to give them these rings, and I don't know if they just want them to sell or own or what. Sister-in-law even said she will look into law if I don't give them back, and that I'm an a-hole for keeping them out of the family where they belong. Daniel and I didn't have kids, so I suppose I'm no longer family. Am I the a-hole if I don't give the rings to my in-laws? Now for the top comments. Not an a-hole. Asking for a widow's wedding ring 6 months after losing her husband is deeply messed up. I'd cut all ties with these people. Let your a-hole sister-in-law get a lawyer. It will be a waste of her money because those rings are yours. They were gifts. These people are disgusting. They aren't family heirlooms. They're just nice things they want to be able to pawn. Block all of them. Actually, I'd go ahead and hire a lawyer to send them a cease and desist letter for the harassment. The ex-in-laws have zero claim to these rings. They wouldn't have a claim even if they were heirlooms. The cruelty to a recent widow is astounding. I'd also go ahead and overshare this harassment on Facebook. Make sure you tag them as well. Not an a-hole. What? Yeah, he paid for them. As gifts for you. But as you were his spouse, his assets go to you anyway, unless he had a will that states otherwise. Where the hell are these people getting the idea they have any claim over anything of his, much less something as sentimental as wedding and engagement rings? Not an a-hole. And as for the legal threats, they can try, but they don't have a leg to stand on. They're not even his. They're hers. So awful. Honestly, your husband is gone. As sad as it is, cut ties with his family. That's so toxic. You were his wife, meaning his things now belong to you anyway. They were gifts. I hope you can get through this. It must be awful, but keep those rings as memories. Not an a-hole. I'm highly considering it. It is so strange, as this nastiness only happened after he passed. They were great in-laws besides that, but this is starting to bother me. Do not give them your rings. You may be feeling pressured now, but you'll regret doing so the rest of your life. These people are grieving, but that's no excuse for this behavior. Stand your ground. If they threaten you with legal action again, tell them you'll file a restraining order for harassment. This is not what your husband would have wanted. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for prioritizing a baby blanket for my sister's baby over my sister-in-law's? So here's the deal. My sister found out she was pregnant back in November. It was a huge surprise, but such a good one. My sister was diagnosed with PCOS and endo when she was in high school, and her fertility was badly affected. She and her husband were trying for 6 years with no success. And then, surprise! She asked if I would make the baby a blanket because I started getting into making baby clothes and blankets at the start of the pandemic, and she wanted something from me for her baby. She offered to pay me, but I said it was a gift. And I started working on it with all my spare time because I'm still learning and growing. And when we found out my sister was having more complications and this would be her one and only, I decided to pour even more into it, making sure it's perfect for my nephew when he arrives. Now that they have a name, I can even start working on the name when I've finished the actual blanket. About 6 weeks after my sister told me she was pregnant, I found out my husband's sister is also expecting. Around 3 months into her pregnancy, she shared that she and her husband were struggling with money and asked if I could make her a blanket. I was honest that I couldn't guarantee I would have one ready for when baby is born, but I would get to work on one as soon as I could, and was clear it would be a few months. She asked why, and I explained I had already committed to making one for my sister, and was still so new I was taking my time and wanted to make sure it was perfect. My answer seemed to be okay with her, but then when she found out that I was true to my word and hadn't started in the new year, she was upset. It's been a thing a lot more lately because she keeps wanting a blanket to be ready and asking me about it. She told her family she was hurt that I was prioritizing my sister's over hers, and that she felt both should get the same time and attention. I feel bad because she and her husband are struggling more now. Long story, but one of their kids has some medical issues and they've had some house issues. But she has her family, and everyone is pitching in to help, and even my husband and I have given them money to help them out. My sister just has me, and our husbands, of course. But we come from parents who don't care, and she was always the big sister who was there for me, doing stuff for me. So I want to do this for her and for my nephew. And yet, I feel bad because my sister-in-law has told me I'm hurting her by prioritizing one over the other. She called me Nehal the other day for prioritizing my nephew over my niece, which is how she sees it. And it's making me feel all the worse. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law is just entitled. I was thinking the same thing. She was working on her sister's first. So why should she have to drop working on her nephew's blanket, who would be their only child, just to start the sister-in-law so it would be ready in time for her baby to be born? I'm really curious as to why she thinks her baby, which won't be blood-related to Opie and she already has a child Opie didn't make a blanket for, is more important than her sister's child, who will be her only child. It is a very generous gift Opie has agreed to. It is not needed before baby gets home. Baby can't even sleep unsupervised with a blanket, so it's not like a get this done or my baby will be cold thing. And yes, sister-in-law, Opie is prioritizing her actual sister over you. Get a grip. Not a-hole. You were already working on sister's blanket first anyways. It's common sense that you would start your sister-in-law's either later or after you finished your sister's blanket. Right. If she had been working on sister-in-law's blanket first and dropped it for her sister's blanket, I could understand her being hurt. Even then, stirring up drama wouldn't be okay, but feeling hurt would be natural. In this case, however, it's just entitlement. And I've made blankets that have taken me someone's entire pregnancy to finish. So if someone else comes up pregnant while I'm making the blanket, they'll get a hat and maybe some matching booties. I can finish that in a couple days. Not an a-hole. Of course your sister is more important to you. Your sister-in-law is an entitled a-hole. Your sister asked first, and she's your sister. Keep going with your plan as you originally decided. You're not in the wrong. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to change my last name like my siblings? It's me 16 male and my 3 other siblings. Jordan 19 male, my twin brother Louis 16 male, and my sister Bella 14 female. Our parents got divorced 4 years ago. My dad was cheating on my mom. He came out and told her, so they split. We were all mad at my dad for a while, especially me because we were always close, so it hurt knowing he did this. We didn't talk for a year as he said he'd give me space till I was ready. Then after that, we started talking again. He only had us few days out of the week, but that changed a while back. My brother and my sister decided they didn't want to go with him at all, so they're at mom's full time and he only sees them every other weekend. I'm the only one that wanted to get split custody, so like 1 week with him then 1 week mom, which they were all mad at. They still hate my dad for cheating, I get it, because to me I haven't looked at him the same, but not mad anymore because it happened already years ago. After they broke up, my mom started going out with my stepdad, Martin. They got married last year right before lockdown, but he was already living with us a long time. We don't talk much, but he's chill. They do more stuff with him than I do, but because they have more time than me, and they like him a lot. I do too. Before Father's Day, my siblings and my mom came to me about a surprise they wanted to do for Martin, and the surprise was all of us changing our last names to his. Everyone, but I said no and said I like having my last name. They can do it obviously, but I'm not interested. That got everyone mad, especially my mom. She talks a lot of crap about my dad all the time, so she asked me why I still want to have a last name of a piece of turd. I told her he's still my dad. He cheated, but he still always tried to be a good dad, so I don't hold that against him anymore. We have these fights all the time whenever I'm going to his house, so I just got tired and ignored them. But they bugged me a lot about doing the change with them because it would mean a lot to Martin if we all did it. I wasn't even there for Father's Day. I went to my dad's, and they're mad I ruined it since they wanted it to be an everyone thing, and I'm the only one not changing my last name now. I don't know why they think I'm being an a-hole for not wanting to change my last name just because of what my dad did a long time ago already. It is not like I consider Martin my dad, but they acting like I am, so am I? Not an a-hole. Your dad might have cheated, but your mother is the a-hole for getting her kids in the middle of all of this. It's parental alienation. Yes, 100%. What Opie's mother is doing is emotional mistreatment. I hardly have a relationship with either of my parents due to alienation, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I'm sorry, Opie. I hope you have access to therapy. Not an a-hole. Not an a-hole. While your dad was a bad husband to your mom, you consider him to be a good father to you. If you want to keep his last name, that's perfectly fine. Even if your dad was terrible to you, if you don't want to change your last name, you don't have to. Yeah, like I know what he did was messed up, and took me a while to stop being mad at him for what he did. But at the end of the day, he's still a good dad. Not an a-hole. What will happen when Martin disappoints them or his relationship with your mom sours? What if Martin cheats on her in the future? I have a relative who was like this with their very blended family, basically pressing the kids to all change their last names till every single one of them did, even though everyone's other bio parent was still alive. I always thought it was not healthy. It isn't healthy. It's commonly done by people who try to raise the other parents. It's a toxic behavior often done by people who have a strange need for a partner.